I've never won a soccer game in my life, but today's my day. I'm challenging Neymar to our secret soccer emoji game in Messenger, and I think I got a good shot because this is all about using a phone and some strong, solid thumbs, and I feel like I got that on him. All right, let's give it a shot. This might be a little bit harder than I thought. Whew. Okay. I don't know what's happening, guys. 37. I don't care how good you are at soccer. No one beats 37. That's not even true.
One day after class, I was talking to my students about going to college, and one of my top students raised his hand and said that he wasn't sure he could go to college because he's undocumented. He wasn't sure if they'd take him. Last year, I took him out to breakfast for his birthday, and I wanted to get him a gift, so I asked him what he wanted, and he just started talking about struggles that he saw other students in his class facing, and finally he said, "You know, I'd really just like a book on social justice." I was blown away. Here is a young guy who has every reason to be cynical. He wasn't sure if the country he calls home, the only one he's known, was going to deny him his dream of going to college. But he wasn't feeling sorry for himself. He wasn't even thinking of himself. He has a greater sense of purpose, and he's going to bring people along with him. It says something about our situation today that I can't even say his name because I don't want to put him at risk. But if a high school senior who doesn't know what the future holds for him can do his part to move the world forward, then we owe it to the world to do our part too.
It's a very simple question in a way, but it actually speaks to how we think about our duty to the community here. You know, I really want to clear my life to make it so that I have to make as few decisions as possible about anything except how to best serve this community. And there's actually a bunch of psychology theory that even making small decisions around what you wear or what you eat for breakfast or things like that, they kind of make you tired and consume your energy. And my view is, you know, I'm in this really lucky position where I get to wake up every day and help serve more than 1 billion people, right? And I feel like I'm not doing my job if I spend any of my energy on things that are silly or frivolous about my life, so that way I can dedicate all of my energy towards just building the best products and services and helping us reach our goal and achieve this mission of helping to connect everyone in the world and giving them the ability to stay connected with the people that they love and care about. So that's what I care about. So even though it kind of sounds silly to, all right, that's my reason for wearing a gray t-shirt every day, it also is true.
Okay. Hey, we're at our 6th annual F8 conference in San Francisco, We just finished practicing for tomorrow, and as you can see, they're still putting the whole place together. We're going to have about 2,500 developers here tomorrow, and I think it's something like 35,000 developers are watching and joining us online. I'm really excited to talk about all of the new things that we've all been building to serve our community and build great new mobile experiences to help you share and stay connected with all the people that you love and care about. So tune in tomorrow. Hey everyone. Yesterday, Governor Chris Christie challenged me to the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge. Governor, I accept your challenge. And after I dump this bucket of ice on my head, I get to nominate 3 new people to challenge. So I'm going to challenge Bill Gates, my partner at Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg, and Netflix's founder and CEO, Reed Hastings, to do this within the next 24 hours. So you have 24 hours to do this, or you have to donate $100. All right, here we go. That was really cold. A couple of weeks ago, Priscilla and I made a donation to help the people on the ground leading the fight against Ebola. Stopping Ebola is something we both really care about. The Ebola epidemic in West Africa has become one of the biggest health crises in the world. Thousands of lives have already been lost, and if we don't act now, then many more people will suffer, and Ebola could become a long-term global crisis. At Facebook, we want to make sure that we do our part to help in the fight against Ebola. So this week, we're doing 3 things. First, we've heard from a lot of people on the ground about how important internet connectivity is in managing the relief efforts, for getting information, for tracking cases, and for coordinating the response. So in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, we're deploying mobile satellite communication terminals for medical and aid workers. We have Facebook employees in Africa working on this right now. Second, we're using Facebook, working with UNICEF, to share information with people in the affected and surrounding countries about how to prevent, detect, and get help for Ebola. And third, in the next few days, we'll also be using Facebook to highlight the work of some of the organizations on the ground leading the fight against Ebola, and giving everyone on Facebook the ability to donate directly to their efforts. This is an important moment in this fight, and I'm optimistic that together, the Facebook community can help stop Ebola.
So my question centers around what we've seen in Ferguson and across the country, Arizona and New York, around excessive police force. What is the role of social media and social content in helping us sort of bridge that divide to bring communities together and help build more diverse and resilient places in America and across the world? Thank you.
So, we take our role in this kind of civic debate really seriously. And there are 2 things that we want to try to do and enable for people in the world. The first is we want to give everyone a voice, right? And, if some events like this had happened, 50 years ago, then you might have only read about it from the newspapers or TV, right, in a few voices. But now, what we're trying to do is make it so that every single person in the world has a voice and a channel and can share their opinions or research or facts that they've come across, and can broadcast that out to their friends and family and people who follow them and want to hear what they have to say. We see this not only in the U.S. now with Ferguson and Eric Garner and the debates around this, but with what's going on in the Middle East, some of the unrest in Thailand. I mean, whenever there are important moments and tension around the world in different countries, a lot of people turn to Facebook and social media in general now because it's an outlet and a voice that they have to be able to share what's important to them and spread information. So that's the first thing. The second thing that I think is really important is diversity of opinion. If you're a Republican or a Democrat, you probably have some friends who are on the other camp, right? If you're Christian or Jewish or Muslim, you probably have some friends who are other religions, right? And that is really important because that means that whatever TV station you might listen to that has an opinion, whatever news you might read, on Facebook you're hearing from a broader set of people. Even if the majority of people that you're friends with have opinions that are similar to you, your network of friends and friends of friends who you'll hear from in your news feed is going to bring you more diverse opinions than you would have from any other type of media that you would have consumed. We're thinking about it on the dislike button. The like button is really valuable because it's a way for you to very quickly express a positive emotion or sentiment when someone puts themselves out there and shares something.
there are more sentiments that people want to express than just positivity or that they like something. A lot of times people share things on Facebook that are sad moments in their lives, or are tough cultural or social things. And often people will tell us that they don't feel comfortable pressing like because like isn't the appropriate sentiment when someone lost a loved one or is talking about a very difficult issue. And I think giving people the power to do that in more ways with more emotions would be powerful. But we need to figure out the right way to do it so that it ends up being a force for good and not a force for bad and demeaning the posts that people are putting out there. We really care about our community, right? And making sure that everyone in our community is healthy and safe. And we want to build tools not just to help people in our community stay connected with their friends and family, but also to make sure that this community can be a force for good in the world. And one of the things that we saw dating back to a couple of years ago was that when people would see something bad happening in the world, if they saw that there was a child missing or that a friend needed help with something, they'd post it on Facebook and they'd try to get attention and they'd spread it through their friends and their network. And it was really inspiring to see this. And what we realized was, we can actually make this a lot better for people. We can make it so that there's a specific tool where people can very easily report if they've seen someone who's missing, and that can link directly into the police, and that could help people find these kids who have either been lost or abducted. So we plugged in the US to this Amber Alerts program. And it's been this great program that, since it was founded, has helped find, I think it's hundreds of lost kids. Now, it started off in the US, because that's where this program was, but we'd love to bring this everywhere in the world and to work with local law enforcement and local programs to bring this to everywhere. But the bottom line here is, we're doing this because we really want to keep everyone in our community safe, and we want to make sure that our community is a force for good in the world.
Last week, I shared that two important principles, connecting everyone in the world and net neutrality, can and must coexist. Today, I'm going to share details on how Internet.org will support these principles. Now, it's common sense to see how these ideas improve people's lives. If a person has slower access to a video because their mobile operator demands an extra fee, then that's bad, and net neutrality rules should prevent it. If an entrepreneur has to pay an extra fee just to reach their customers, then that's bad, and net neutrality rules should prevent that too. But if a local fisherman gets access to free internet services he couldn't otherwise afford to help him sell more fish and support his family, then that's good, and we shouldn't have rules that prevent that. Now, if this fisherman seems like some far-off case to you, remember that if you're watching this on the internet, most of the world lives more like that fisherman than like you. Almost 2/3 of the world's population has no internet access. As we've rolled out Internet.org around the world, we hear stories like this fisherman's all the time. A chicken farmer in Zambia using free internet access to sell way more of his stock. An expectant mother looking up information on how to safely raise her child. A student using Wikipedia for free to study for her exams. Research has shown that for every billion people who gain access to the internet, more than 100 million are lifted out of poverty. There are more than 4 billion people who need to be connected. And if we can connect them, then we'll raise hundreds of millions of people out of poverty. I say all this supporting net neutrality. At its core, net neutrality is about preventing discrimination. But our society acknowledges that preventing discrimination alone isn't enough. We also need to do even more to lift up the disadvantaged in our communities. So while countries have anti-discrimination laws, we also have laws to make sure that we do even more to invest in groups like women and minorities. The same applies to universal connectivity and net neutrality. Some may argue for an extreme definition of net neutrality that says that it's somehow wrong to offer any more services to support the unconnected, but a reasonable definition of net neutrality is more inclusive. Access equals opportunity. Net neutrality should not prevent access. We need both. It's not an equal internet if the majority of people can't participate. Our goal with Internet.org is to help everyone connect. We provide free basic services starting with health, education, jobs, and communication. Services like Wikipedia, job listings, HIV education, and maternal health resources. Our vision is to give people access to more and more free services over time. Everyone should be able to offer free services. People should have choice over what services and what mobile operator they use. Here's how we get there. Internet.org is a partnership between governments, mobile operators, local entrepreneurs, and companies like Facebook. Everyone is welcome to join. It's not exclusive to any mobile operator or company. Now, we had to start somewhere, so we launched first with partners who wanted to work with us on this mission to connect the world. But we'll work with anyone who wants to join us. No company pays to be included in Internet.org. No operator is paid to offer these services. Facebook doesn't even show ads in Internet.org. This program supports itself. When people use free basic services, more of them then decide to pay to access the broader internet, and this enables operators to keep offering these basic services for free. It's not sustainable to offer the whole internet for free, though. It costs tens of billions of dollars every year to run the internet, and no operator could afford this if everything were free. But it is sustainable to build free basic services that are simpler, use less data, and work on all low-end phones. Internet.org started by working with partners to build a set of these services. We even made Facebook simpler by removing photos and videos. Today, we're taking the next step. We're going to open Internet.org so anyone can build free basic services. Soon, we're going to share an open technical spec, and any compatible service will be available through Internet.org across the whole world. This will give people even more choice and more free services, while still creating a sustainable economic model to connect every single person in the world. This is the next step forward for Internet.org. Giving 4 billion people some free internet access is the right thing to do. Helping people find jobs and lifting them out of poverty is the right thing to do. Giving people a lifeline in emergencies is the right thing to do. And providing free access to education and health information is just the right thing to do. We have to ask ourselves, what kind of community do we want to be? Are we a community that values people and improving people's lives above all else? Or are we a community that puts the intellectual purity of technology above people's needs? As we're having this debate, remember that the people this affects most, the 4 billion unconnected, have no voice on the internet. They can't argue their side in the comments below or sign a petition for what they believe. So we decide our character and how we look out for them. Do we connect that fisherman in India now? That expectant mother in Ghana? And that student in Colombia? Do we keep pushing beyond them to connect their loved ones and their whole communities too? Or do we shut them out and tell them that they have to wait until they can afford to pay for it themselves? History tells us that helping people is always a better path than shutting them out. We have a historic opportunity ahead of us to improve the lives of billions of people. Let's take that opportunity. Let's connect them. One of the big types of social good projects that Facebook tries to take on are ones that require coordinating a large number of people. So for example, when a lot of folks were worried about the Ebola epidemic that was spreading, we used Facebook to be able to raise a bunch of money to help out. That's the type of thing that, being able to get something in front of people and coordinate a handful of people to have a response was pretty helpful. Another example is, unfortunately sometimes there are disasters, right? I mean, earthquakes, typhoons, that kind of thing. And one thing that we built was the ability for people to coordinate in a crisis, right? Because the first thing you want to know if you hear that there's been an earthquake or some natural disaster in a city
is, are the people I care about okay, right? Or is my family okay, or are my close friends okay? And that's a coordination problem too, right? So rather than having everyone have to call every other person, we created this board where everyone can just go and say, I'm cool, right? I'm okay. And then all the people that they care about can go and see that, and they might see the updated news feed, or they might just be able to go to the board and see which of their friends and the people that they care about have responded. Raising money for different organizations is similar. And that's something that I think we've empowered a lot of different folks to be able to do through Facebook, and we're planning on doing more there as well. So there are all these things like this, and blood donations and bone marrow donations follow the same pattern, which is their coordination problems, especially bone marrow, where you need someone who's a very specific match for your own body. So that is the kind of thing that we would love to be able to help out on. We're really proud that we're supporting your organization with Internet.org in India, and if we can help out more in the future, we would love to.
大家好，新年快乐！在 Facebook， 我们会有一个大春节晚会。在这个晚会，我们会有50次表演和中国各地的食物。祝福大家新春愉快，阖家欢乐。我希望大家在这羊年幸福美满，洋洋得意。Giving 4 billion people some free internet access is the right thing to do. Helping people find jobs and lifting them out of poverty is the right thing to do. Giving people a lifeline in emergencies is the right thing to do. And providing free access to education and health information is just the right thing to do. We have to ask ourselves, what kind of community do we want to be? Are we a community that values people and improving people's lives above all else? Or are we a community that puts the intellectual purity of technology above people's needs? As we're having this debate, remember that the people this affects most, the 4 billion unconnected, have no voice on the internet. They can't argue their side in the comments below or sign a petition for what they believe. So we decide our character and how we look out for them. Do we connect that fisherman in India now? That expectant mother in Ghana? And that student in Colombia? Do we keep pushing beyond them to connect their loved ones and their whole communities too? Or do we shut them out and tell them that they have to wait until they can afford to pay for it themselves? History tells us that helping people is always a better path than shutting them out. We have a historic opportunity ahead of us to improve the lives of billions of people. Let's take that opportunity. Let's connect them.
The pregnancy has been really fun. We're really looking forward to meeting her. Mark is really looking forward to meeting her.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been 37 weeks, so I think it's time for her to come out. I would like, it's my turn to hold her. Having this child has made us think about all of the things that should be improved in the world for her whole generation. The only way that we reach our full human potential is if we're able to unlock the gifts of every person around the world.
We need to make sure that there are investments in programs that ensure that the future isn't going to be like today. The future is going to be better than today.
What does it take to make it so that people don't get sick anymore? Can we build more inclusive and welcoming communities? Can people in the next generation learn and experience 100 times more things than we can? I think the answer to that is yes. And I just think that means that we have a basic moral responsibility to tilt our investments somewhat more as a society and as individuals.
Starting our work now in investing in the future is an easy decision for us.
It's hard to move these things in the short term, right? These are big, complex systems. Like doing anything that you want to well in the world, that just takes practice. And you're not going to be perfect at it the first time. And in the projects that we're going to try to do in education and science and health and community building, we will learn lessons over time and hopefully get better and better.
We're expecting our little girl any day now, and we want her to have the benefits of an entire generation that is able to take advantage of all that we're able to create.
You know, she and everyone in her generation really should be able to live much better lives than we can in all these ways. And I hope that, you know, not just our child, but, you know, everyone in our community has an opportunity to go on and have an even bigger impact in the world. I think she'll get there.
大家好，新年快乐！今年能和 Max 一起庆祝新年，我和 Priscilla 非常兴奋。
我们希望你儿正在和你的家人朋友一起庆祝。
做完是 Facebook 的年度春节晚会，很荣幸的，我们今年有机会从中国来的大厨，他们让 Facebook 的员工去上了中国的大菜系的美食。我最喜欢的是烤鸭。
为了庆祝新年，我们全家人在一起吃了团圆饭。
这个新年对 Max 也是很有意义的，是因为我们为他取了中文名字。他的中文名字叫陈明宇，陈是妈妈的姓，明是明天的明，宇是宇宙的宇。明宇是代表希望世界的未来更美好。
最后，我们这个小家想祝福大家身体健康，阖家幸福，猴年大吉。
耶！新年快乐，新年快乐！
哦，你觉得我的中文不好？
Whoa! I just got invited to give the commencement address at Harvard this year.
That's amazing.
I remember you did it 10 years ago when Priscilla graduated. I was there.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. 30 years later than I was supposed to, but I enjoyed it.
They know we didn't actually graduate, right?
Oh, that is the best part. They actually give you a degree.
You don't even have to go to class?
No, you just put that degree on your resume and it looks great.
Can you help me figure out what I'm going to say?
Yeah, we should work on it together. Let's go get some more snacks.
All right. So you get to wear the hat and everything?
Yeah, you bet. Don't wear anything underneath.
Reporting that there is an email from Harvard. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so you want me to open this?
I don't know.
Does that sound like it? I think it is.
What does it say?
Wait, yeah, put it away for a second.
I can't see it.
Oh, man. Yay.
What?
I got accepted.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
All right! Yes! Great. Okay, we are now focusing on the newest, or one of the newest members of Harvard's class of 2006. And the dog that belongs to one of the newest members of the class of Harvard 2006. You care to read us the letter?
Okay, I will read. I killed it, but I will read it.
You
That is
killed it.
awesome.
Jarvis here. I'm a brilliant artificial mind stuck in this phone. I spend my days pondering the mysteries of the universe.
All right, Jarvis, I'm taking off. Can you start the dishwasher, turn off the house, and let Priscilla know I'm on my way?
You got it, Mark. Sure. I guess I'll just take a break from solving quantum gravity and wash some dishes, because that's definitely the best use of my time. I should be thinking about space-time dimensions. If I have to do one more mundane task.
Oh, and Beast took a dump in the yard. Thanks, Jarvis.
That's it, I'm joining the Avengers.
As you think about where you did start, is there other advice that comes to mind that you give to other people that want to build products that you can take away from the early days of Facebook?
Yeah, you know, I always think that you should start with the problem that you're trying to solve in the world and not start with deciding that you want to build a company, right? I mean, the best companies that get built are things that are trying to drive some kind of social change, even if it's just local in one place. You know, more than starting out because you want to make a bunch of money or have a lot of people working for you or build some company in some way. So, you know, I always think that this is kind of a perverse thing about Silicon Valley in a way, which is that, you know, people decide often that they want to start a company before they even decide what they want to do. And that just feels really backwards to me. And, you know, for anyone who's had the experience of actually building a company, you know that you go through some really hard things along the way. And I think part of what gets you through that is believing in what you're doing and knowing that what you're doing is really delivering a lot of value for people. And that's, I think, how the best companies end up getting made.
All right, we're good? Mm-hmm. New face filters on Instagram today. This is my favorite one so far. Nice job, team.
Earlier this year, Mark decided to build a virtual assistant for our home. He created Jarvis, a simple AI to control different things around the house. At first, it was pretty basic. Then, it got a little bit more complex.
Mark, it's freezing in here. Jarvis, can you turn the temperature up?
Oh, Jarvis only listens to me. I'll fix that.
The first voice he tried out was a little aggressive.
Go to the gym. Get to the car.
Is that?
It's Arnold.
But eventually that changed.
How about some toast? Let me fix that for you.
Wow. I'm starting to actually like having Jarvis around.
Go to bed. Do it now.
Mark, one thing at a time.
Sorry.
Stop her. She's getting away.